is up, guys? It's your boy Game Atomic, and today we're gonna go over a very special build. This is a build that I use a lot in the Division 2, and I use it mostly in PvE, although I guess you could technically use it in PvP. There's a couple of modifications that you can do to use it in PvP, but I find it suits best playing in PvE, especially if you're trying to clear those level 4 control points, if you're trying to get all the blueprints, if you're trying to complete heroic missions solo. If you know, I know not all of us have friends to play with, or some people just prefer to play solo. They don't want to deal with having some randoms or whatever the case may be. So with this build, you actually be able to do all that. I've cleared many control points. I have completed many heroic missions with this one. And if you want to play in a group, let's say to do like a legendary or something, you can still use it. It's still a viable option in a group. It's gonna allow you to do more DPS and just run through the mission faster. Okay, so let's go. We're gonna run straight through it. So for the specialization, I decided to go with Gunner, mainly because I actually don't have the large pouch on PC. So for my LMG, using Gunner allows me to have that 50 round mag, which is very useful. The more rounds you have, the more DPS you can put down on these enemies. So basically that's why I'm running Gunner. Now let's start with my weapon. So I'm using the Infantry LMG, which is a very powerful LMG. I personally think it's the best in the game. A lot of people think so also. As you can see with my rolls, I have 12% LMG damage, 10% damage to target out of cover, and 10% headshot damage. Now that headshot damage, I wish it was something else, maybe like some crit chance or some crit damage or something like that, but I mean, for what it is, it's still a pretty decent roll. And I've rolled fast hands on it because critical hits add a stat of 4% reload speed bonus. Max stack is 40. Now when you're using an LMG, the worst part of an LMG is that the reloading is super slow. You do get a large mag, 100 rounds, but it takes forever to reload. So with this fast hand option, we significantly reduce the amount of time that it takes us to reload. So the faster we reload, the faster we can get back in the fight, the more DPS we can do. So this build is all about DPS. And then I have this classic M1A as my backup. I mostly use it for enemies that are far away. So basically I use the LMG for close to mid-range, mostly mid-range, because this is not really a build that I would advise you to get too close to your
Agent
enemies.
Requesting backup.
So mainly mid-range I use my LMG, and this I use this for long range, and then I have this Magnum over here, but that's not really important. So let's get on with the build. So we have 3-piece Providence, we have an exotic coyote mask, we have 1-piece Seska, and then 1-piece which is the contractor gloves for LMGs. So if we start with the first piece, my coyote's mask exotic, 15% weapon damage, 5.7% crit hit chance, 9.7% crit hit damage, and then I put 11.4 crit hit damage mod on there. Now I could re-roll this mask to have some better crit chance and crit damage on it, I'm just gonna leave it like that for now, just because I want to use my exotic parts to reroll some other stuff. But you can actually get this much higher than what I have it right now, which would, you know, would make your build even better. So that's a good thing. But the most important part of using the Coyote's mask is what it gives, not only to you but to your allies. Okay, so to read the exotic perk, Pack Instinct, you and all allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. 0 to 15 meters, you gain 25% crit hit damage. 15 to 25 meters, plus 10% crit hit damage, plus 10% crit hit chance. And 25 meters plus 25% crit hit chance. So you're gonna see with the whole build, that's really gonna come in handy. Okay, so we're gonna go to our chest piece. We have our first piece of Providence, and we are having 12.3% weapon damage, 2.5% crit hit chance, which I wish was much higher than that, but that's what I have right now. We have max 12% crit hit damage. We also put a mod of 10.9 crit hit damage on here, but one of the things that make this build so powerful is our talent Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 15 times. Now this is probably the most slept on talent in the game. I see so many people run Perfect Glass Cannon. Yes, Perfect Glass Cannon gives you more damage. It is 30%, so twice as that, but you're taking 60% more damage with a build that's already glass cannon to begin with. So to me, it's just not worth it. I prefer running this, and surprisingly, when you're using an LMG with the amount of crit hit chance and damage that we can get with this build, you can actually have this buff up for basically the entire fight. So it's really good. It shreds to enemy armor, so I highly recommend giving this talent a try. So moving on, we have holster. We have Seska, 15% weapon damage, 9.3% crit hit damage, 6% crit hit chance. We're using the Seska mainly for the 10% crit hit chance that comes with that brand set. Backpack, second piece of Providence. Now we have 13.5% weapon damage, 13.3% crit hit damage, 3.3% crit hit chance, and I threw mod on there, 10.5% crit hit damage. But the most important part of that that backpack is actually the talent Perfect Vigilance. Increase total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage, disable this buff for 3 seconds. Now you can add this 25% to the 15% that you get from Obliterate, and most of the time, if you stay within cover, pick your battles wisely, you are getting an extra 40% damage at all times. And I mean, that shreds through enemies. Like heroic, even legendaries, doesn't matter, this will shred through your enemies. Our gloves is a Contractor's Gloves, which gives us the 10% LMG damage, and then we have 15% weapon damage on there, and the special attribute for the Contractor's Gloves is 8% damage to armor, and then we have 10.1% crit damage. Now these gloves used to be more powerful, they were nerfed, but if you're running an LMG build, I think they are still the most viable option. And then last piece is also Provenance, and 3-piece Provenance. So now we have our 10% headshot damage, or 10% crit chance, and our 15 crit damage. We have 14.3% weapon damage, 20% crit damage, and 5% crit chance. Now I could have used the fog sprayers. I do have them, but to be honest with you, since they've been nerfed, they're not as good as they used to be. Plus, even though I do have a M1A on this class, I barely use it. I use it basically for long range battles, but I focus this build mainly around my LMG, so that's why I'm not using the fog sprayers. So take a look at our stats here. Our weapon is dealing 102% weapon damage, but keep in mind that doesn't take in consideration the 15% that we're gaining from Obliterate and the 25% from Vigilance, so it actually gets much higher than that. We have 58% crit chance, which is almost max, 2 points away from max. 137% crit hit damage. Now one thing to keep in mind is that we have a Coyote's mask, and in the range in which I usually use my LMG, I gain that 25% crit hit damage, which significantly boosts our crit hit damage. So not only you getting the buff from Vigilance, from Obliterate, but you also dealing 137.6% crit hit damage plus an extra 25%. And with the rate of fire of this LMG, you get a lot of crit hit damage with it. And mainly that's it. You get 92.9% all damage bonus, and then we get 37% LMG bonus. And yeah, that is the build in a nutshell, guys. Give it a try. It's a different way. I know a lot of people run a similar build, but it's usually done with perfect glass cannon, but I wanted to give it another twist, so I use Obliterate, and Obliterate works perfectly well. The synergy between Obliterate and this Coyote mask is amazing, plus the fact that you get the fast reload, so it's crit bonus on top of crit bonus on top of crit bonus, and it's just, the synergy is really nice. Just give it a try. Let me know what you guys think. All right, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. If you didn't enjoy it, give me a dislike, but tell me in the comments what you didn't like about it so I can improve. I'm just starting as a Division content creator, so any feedback would greatly be appreciated, whatever it may be, just to help me get better at this. Hopefully over time I do get better. And subscribe to the channel, guys, for more content like this, and then I will see you on the next one.